I'm kind of at a loss for words right now. I don't even know what to comment. I don't know. I truly don't know. I'll be back. Good morning, guys. So it is Monday and I got a little bit of time before I hit the road, so I figured I'd turn the camera around. You'd see my face. Please like, subscribe, do whatever you can do to help the channel grow. For the people that have been doing that, thank you. I can see it in the stats and I really appreciate it. Let's get right into this video. We got 3 things we're going to cover in this video in order. We got a Miata that was supposed to be on the dyno. Well, you're going to see why I couldn't get it on the dyno. And we're going to go into an RSX. Now, I did have to find some more footage and get some content for the fact that I was expecting to be on the dyno and have more content of the Miata, but you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about on that. With the RSX, we're going to go into the E85 category. I'm going to talk a little bit about fuel injectors, why I actually refused to tune somebody, and we're going to talk at the very end of the video, LS stuff versus 2JZ. Now, that's just going to be an intro to the winter project stuff. I don't go really too much into detail because, as I was saying, I needed to get some content. I was expecting, other footage, but it is what it is. So thanks for watching. So I got this Miata up for a dyno tune. This Miata was actually here a while back for a dyno tune, and it had a misfire. Pretty much we did everything to rule out what we thought it could be, and the customer ultimately picked it up with the misfire and ready for the dyno. Now, we asked them many of times, are you sure it's ready for the dyno? Is everything good? You know, this and that, and he assured us it was ready for the dyno. Now, I was told by a tech who moved the car up here in our parking lot, that's a different story, so let's hop in. So I was told the car also starts and runs, and right now it does not want to start. So it doesn't want to stay running more so, but what I'm trying to get it to do Can you hear it? Yeah, it's got a misfire still. So I was told this was dyno ready. I'd be able to do my job and dyno tune it. Well, yeah. I am also told that when the guys moved it in the spot that it barely has any clutch, and I will say the clutch pedal, it feels like there's no clutch pedal. It's springing back up, but as far as the actual throw, and let me rephrase that, it doesn't really want to pop back up. It's very weak. Yeah. So I'm doing a quick, simple once over on everything. See if I can catch anything else that I need to tell him that needs to be addressed. I don't know if you're going to be able to see because of the light, but it is low on antifreeze. I don't know what kind of fittings those are, but if I can take a vacuum line, or more so that you can actually see it, how loose it is, if I can take like a line and you can actually like wiggle it where it's going to move, you know, this is a vacuum. The lines are just too big. On top of that too, the catch can, so it's routed to the intake manifold, so it's going to see vacuum and it will see boost pressure. It's also routed though to the top of the valve cover, which, yes, you can still have a PCV valve on there, and it's supposed, if it does its job, it will keep it from boosting into the crankcase. But if it doesn't do its job, well, ultimately you're relying on that small little piece not to pressurize the crankcase and possibly cause a piston ringland to crack, because you got pressure on the top of the piston and pressure now on the bottom of the piston. So the other thing too I noticed over here, it doesn't look huge, but at the same time you can see the carbon buildup, which, you know, exhaust leak, and that's exactly where my O2 sensor needs to go. You can also see the carbon buildup right there. So yeah, and the more I look at it, the more I'll say, if you look on the valve cover, all this appears to be carbon as well. Yeah, I'll be back. I'm gonna come back and cover some more stuff, but here's also something I noticed. So this one's pretty tight. Yeah, it's on there. This one, yeah. This one, same thing. Just moving up and down in there. This one is pretty tight as well. So I spoke to the customer, I gave him all the info. This was over Facebook, so I was communicating on there, where he said he knew about the vacuum stuff, he knew about the clutch. He said he was more so trying to get it to a point where he knew he would have to come back and fine-tune the other stuff later. He asked me if there was a coolant leak, because he said before the car got trailered over here, it was filled. I didn't get the car up in the air and inspect for that, because that's not what it's here for. I noticed the spark plug wires being loose as well. And, you know, he said that he had somebody, he said he had a tech check it out. He was asking me how I knew it was a misfire, and well, you can hear the thing. It's on Megasquirt, so as far as I know, the check engine light and the OBD2 port more so will not work, so you can't communicate that way. And seeing how it is a built, the engine has been built, I don't want to try to be starting it having a misfire where potentially whatever cylinder's not firing correctly, something's going to happen and damage that cylinder. It's not, you know, the vacuum lines being loose. I mean, I don't know what to say at that. I'm literally at a loss for words. And, you know, the same with the clutch as well. I mean, I get it, because the clutch you have to replace and it takes some time, but the vacuum lines take 2 seconds. So, you know, I said, you know, we don't have time to get into it and diagnose it. I said I can do a compression and a leak down test to verify that the engine's healthy. He said he'll pick up the car and do that. I'm kind of at a loss for words right now. I don't even know what to comment. I don't know. I truly don't know. I'll be back. So we got this RSX up next. Now, I'm covering this car for a couple reasons. One, I'm going to try, and it's not going to be in this video, but as the coming weeks and whatnot, I'm going to try to cover how we're going to diagnose this surging idle and find out what's going on. Originally, the vehicle came in, he needed the TPS calibrated. I got a phone call from him, and, you know, went along the lines as, hey, we need the TPS installed. Should we do it ourselves and calibrate it in the computer? Or would it just be easier if you guys do it? Well, you know, that all comes down to how comfortable you feel with getting in your computer and calibrating it through K-Pro and doing all that stuff. Now, I do have another clip here that I'm going to insert that also can show you as something so little as calibrating the TPS and K-Pro. Well, you're going to see in the video I'm going to insert. So I want to show you guys more so something so little that can turn into something, well, it can turn into something bigger. We had a customer that called us up. We dyno tuned his car last year. He said the car has been down, he was having TPS issues, and he wanted to know if he should get into K-Pro and hit the calibration stuff that you got to do, or if it was something easier on us. And you know, I explained to him it's not that hard. He can do it himself, but if he didn't feel comfortable with it, we'd take over and we'd handle it all. Well, you know, case in point, if you're on K-Pro, you can retrieve the calibration from the computer, but some stuff is not always, well, I should say some stuff doesn't always work out like it should. And K-Pro keeps giving me this error every time I try to retrieve the calibration from the computer, which it's not that huge of a deal for me, at least, because I save tunes. Not only do I have your tunes saved, usually I back them up in a sense, just in case anything were to happen to my laptop. So, you know, ultimately I don't have to retrieve it from his computer. I can get it from my laptop and then I can upload it after I set the TPS and the parameters. But this is just another thing where something so easy, you can get a curveball into the mix. And then if, you know, if you're the user on your side and it's your car and you don't do this day in and day out, well, you know, you can maybe freak out, you can panic. If the tune, and it does look like the tune tried to download somewhat, but it looks like it's corrupt. That's the thing, if you don't know what you're looking for, and then this happens, and then you have the corrupt tune, and then you go to upload it, in a sense, you might have an issue now where it's a no start, and it's got to be done again. So, like I said, just something that I wanted to show and talk about, because even the littlest of things can turn into something, and if you don't know what you're doing, and this is also why, you know, I tell people, yes, it's easy in a sense, but at the same time, it may not be stuff like this, which I will say this is why some guys don't want anything to do with the computers and messing around with the laptop, which I get and I understand, and that's why I'm here. I want to show you what this car is doing now, and I'm going to swing back here around and talk a little bit more with the car off. At times, if you're not familiar with the K-Pro software, S300 software, and even Flash Pro, there are glitches that you can face. And as a first timer, as I talk about it in the other clip, it could throw you for a loop. And I've seen it where people accidentally erase the tune in a sense. So for me to, I'll say this too, and I'm sure I say it in a bunch of my videos, for me to do something as little as calibrating the TPS in the tune, and I have tuned this car prior, it takes me seconds. You're not going to get charged for that aspect. Of course, if we're doing the TPS itself and install, you'll get charged on that. And that was the original RO, the work order. That's what we were doing. Well, after we started the car up, it was still surging, so we got a little bit more info. I don't have the info, I don't think, on me. I'm going to go look. And we're closed because it's the weekend. I'm going to go see if I can find that. I'll be back. I believe, I could be wrong, I believe the surging started after they installed this throttle body. So if that's the case, then we're going to simply check for vacuum leaks. And that info is going to be more so in the next video, possibly. Only for the mere fact, too, when he came back in, he asked, can we do anything more to make the tune aggressive? Which, you know, to me it would be, well, you want more aggressive tune, you want more power. And I'll say this too, if you know how tuning works, there's no such thing as making a more aggressive tune. The dyno itself, we're trying to find optimal ignition timing, and then when you find it, that's where it's at. So that's a whole nother video, so we're going to save that. But I did recommend, if you're looking for a little more power, E85 has its benefits. I explained to him the benefits besides just making more power. And I have been hearing a lot lately, this is nothing new, that E85 is horrible in the wintertime. Now give me 1 second here. Okay, so getting right into E85 in the wintertime comment. A lot of the E85 stuff I hear is just, it's misinformation. It was thrown around either by friends of friends or they read something on the internet and then they just rolled with it. E85 is fine in the wintertime. The biggest issue with the E85 is if you have to store your car in the wintertime. And as I say, if you're going to store it, let's say all winter long, try to start it up at least twice a week. And if you come to me for like let's just say an E85 tune, and the other option is to get all the E85 out of your tank. You could pickle the system with 93. I'll toss you, let's just say you came in for an E85 tune, that's it. I will toss you a 93 startup tune, so in the wintertime, you can still start the car on 93. Even if it's on 93 and it's gonna sit all year long, not all year, all winter long, you still want to start it. But if you want to be extra safe and you want to get the E85 out, that's how I help my customers. It's little things just like that, and I don't charge on that. Now, if you want 2 separate tunes, well, of course, I'm doing double the work in a sense. We have the other thing I'm going to mention, because it's going to trail into a little bit of a, well, after this you're going to see. We have our own E85 package. And I'm holding the injectors because these are on the car and we're going to be installing them, so I just took them off the car. We have our own injector package that comes with a fuel pump that's E85 compatible. I'll shoot down the link down below. You can click on it. It will be majority of these cars, K series, B series, whatever. If you get the right product, you're gonna have that much more success. So the whole thing, going back to the beginning of this video, E85 is bad in the wintertime. It's really not. You got to follow some simple instructions and rules and whatnot. And if you come here, I explain all that stuff to you. But let me go into the email that I got. And this is kind of why I want to talk and why I mentioned good products, good quality injectors. And I've done many videos before on injectors, I'm sure. I did a Mythbusters one. I will try to link down below and remember, but let me go in front of my computer. So I'm going to dive right into this email, and I'm not going to read it all, but I'm going to briefly go over it. I had an email where a guy was looking for a tune. It was an LS1. I tune LS1s as well. I tune a lot of American stuff, HB tuners and all that stuff. So if you're looking for that or you come across this video, let me know. He went down the whole setup. The engine's built, and there's a couple parts that he knows he's preparing for the future. So right now, you know, he's got like a turbo cam, but the car's not turboed. So, you know, of course, car's not going to probably make the most amount of power NA with that kind of cam, but he's aware of that. And then going over his setup, he mentioned the injectors that he has. And, you know, the injectors that he mentioned are known to have problems in the tuning community, I'll say. Not everybody's going to know. I don't expect a normal person is going to know that these injectors are not the greatest or whatever, and that's why I keep trying to do these videos. Now, I simply explained to him why I didn't want to tune the car, and it was because of the injectors more so. And, you know, his response was that he's had the injectors on the car for a little bit, and the car's been running fine. He was very respectful, too. Let me mention that. He was respectful enough that I actually responded and told him I really appreciated that. He understood where I was coming from. And at the end of the day, if I'm tuning your car, not only when it's on the dyno and it leaves here, it still has my name on it. So the big thing about these injectors that they're known to cause issues. They don't have all the correct injector data info, which I've said it before, and I'll open this box that I have here. We recommend FIC injectors and Injector Dynamics. Those are the top 2 brands. We sell them both. If you want to give back, you're watching my videos and you see this and you want to support us, then buy from us. The injector card that FIC includes, and number one, they tell you never to lose it, because each injector card is per the injector. Because, now, yes, everything is going to be backwards. They all have the serial numbers on them. Every single injector, I don't care how good the company is, they're never going to flow equally. And what it comes down to is how the company batches the injectors. If they're batching 100 injectors and half of them flow, let's just say for easiness, 975 cc's, and the other ones flow 1,000, good companies such as Fuel Injector Clinic and Injector Dynamics will batch them as close as possible. And then they're going to give you the info on this sheet. Very detailed. I've seen injector companies that not only do they not give you this info, case in point, what we're talking about, I've even seen well-known injectors that people think are good, they're getting handwritten injector info. Like, it's just person's coming out of nowhere, thin air, and just writing stuff down because that's what they saw on the internet. And people started to ask, hey, we need injector info. So then, this person just starts writing it on a piece of paper, whatever he's trying to find on the internet. Now, there are some companies, too, that their injector info is wildly inaccurate. But the companies themselves, I've pulled them from the shelves because they're not good. A lot of stuff you see online gets pushed by YouTubers or bloggers, whatever you want to call it, because of money. That's what it comes down to. So you think such and such, somebody you look up to, but you don't know them just from YouTube. And I understand it. Like, you're watching me, you don't really know me. I don't care if you buy the injectors from me. I run my business. I've ran my business for many of years based on the fact that I provide you with quality information. What you do with that is on you. If you support us, I highly appreciate it, because of course it's supporting not only me, but my family and everybody else here. What I won't tolerate is if I tell you something and then you go online and buy it for $5 cheaper and then you need the help, don't come to me. It's that simple. So in this case, I told him, why I wouldn't tune it. Very respectful. He told me, well, I may switch, I may not. The other thing that kind of gets me too is he said he's been driving on them for, I don't know if he watches my videos. If you do, I'm not bad-mouthing you at all. You're super respectful. But I'll say in my mind, you're getting a little bit of glimpse of how my mind works. He said he was driving on with no issues for the last 2 years. Well, here's the problem. Or in my mind, more so the problem. The engine is built, and these injectors are known to cause problems. On a V8, having an injector flow a little bit differently, or even to a point where a cylinder wants to maybe misfire, it's a lot harder to pinpoint on a V8 than, say, a 4-cylinder. So that would be my other issue. What if we have one cylinder that's been constantly running lean, let's just say for the last 2 years, goes on the dyno, and something happens? You see what I'm getting at that? So quality parts, people, and you gotta watch out for the smoke and mirrors. You gotta watch out for the people, and when I say people, I mean businesses in a whole. Maybe you just know one guy that's selling parts, but if I tell you for a whole year, buy these injectors, buy them. They're the greatest thing you're ever gonna get. You can't get anything better. And then next year, when new prices come out, new companies are looking to start up a relationship with people, or they're looking for advertisement or sponsorships or brand ambassadorship, whatever you want to call it. And then that person that was peddling these injectors to you and selling them as the greatest injector, then the next year they're automatically just trash, and then there's a new brand that they're going to sell. Forget about these injectors. And we're not talking just about injectors. Tuning software, sleeves, pistons. A lot of people don't care. Resellers, vendors, and there's good people too, don't get me wrong. A lot of people don't care about that, though. It's the quick buck. It's the quick money in their pocket. So really think about who you're watching online. I say it all the time. I'm very passionate about it because I have been doing this for 25 plus odd years, and it's always about being a better person, bettering myself every single day. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, if I start telling you not to run these injectors, or an injector comes into play, I'm going to give you the reason. I'm going to give you there's been companies that have tanked completely. Their quality has gone down. Their service has gone down. I pull them from the shelf. Sometimes those companies will call me. Hey, you're not moving our products anymore, because they have issues. And when we bring it up to you, it falls on you guys don't care, and that's what it's about. So let's go on to the next little topic project. And here we go for our last little segment, 2JZ versus an LS. Got both these engines here. They are out of the engine room just for now, so I can tape them. These are both going into project cars. Both should be during the wintertime, I should say. A lot of it's just going to be ultimately up to the client. And both are, in case you can't tell, are junkyard engines. What I hope to cover in this video more so is to show you guys that these can be built in a sense for a very affordable price, and you don't have to skimp out and go with like Amazon stuff. That's basically what I want to kind of document in this. It's, you know, I don't know if we're going to be building the bottom ends more so. That hasn't been discussed just yet on these projects. These are fairly early as I hit the dyno lift there. Apologize. Fairly early into the project itself. We're going to be stripping them down completely. Of course, they're going to get all new, you know, timing belt. We're going to do a timing chain, water pump, all the basic stuff. But I don't know if we're going to do pistons just yet. I think we're doing cams on both of them. And this is just to give you guys an idea, because that's the other thing too. We've been doing a lot more LS cars. We've been hearing a lot of stuff with both LS and 2JZs where people think you have to take out a second loan on your house or eat ramen for a whole year straight to build these to a point where you can make decent power. No, I'm going to say we're not going to try to push 1,000 horsepower out of them in a sense. So we're not going that extreme. But it is going to just show you guys in these videos it can be done. It can be done correctly. And like I said, when I say correctly, no Amazon. I don't want to say eBay parts. And I get it. I know Amazon and eBay don't make parts. I've gotten bashed before about saying that stuff. Come on, let's use some common sense. So we're going to start stripping these apart. I don't know when these are going to be in the next video. Free shout out to my own personal white EG that's going to be for sale soon. So if anybody's looking for a very, very clean white EG hatch, keep that in mind. It is a true SI. That's a free shout out from me. But besides that, that's what we're going to end this video on. And, you know, just showing you a little bit different stuff going on. We have a ton of stuff, but we keep a ton of stuff moving as well here. You know, on the other projects we have, the white Del Sol, which that's going to start coming back into the picture here. Took a little break on that Prelude project. No, we didn't. We're still working on it. You'll see that in the next coming videos. And then the white RSX I featured too on here. You're going to see the little update, what we find on the surging idle. And I'll throw a little bit in there too, more so how to find the surging idle. Talked about it before, but not everybody watches all my videos, or catches all my videos, I should say. So if you didn't see the one previously, or I don't even know when I did one on tracking down a surging idle. And I will say too, just because your idle's surging and whatnot, don't delete your idle air control valve. If the car's a street car, don't delete it. That's all I'm going to say. Thanks for watching as always.